What if the keys to navigating the confusion, the crushing pressures, and the endless noise of modern life aren't found in the latest trend or guru, but in an ancient guide? A book that doesn't just offer nice advice, but the skills you need to make consistently good choices, to build genuine peace and lasting purpose even when everything feels chaotic. This isn't a quick fix. This is the Book of Proverbs, and it's part of a powerful trilogy in the Bible, alongside Ecclesiastes and Job, all wrestling with the most fundamental question: what does it truly mean to live well in God's complex world? The word proverb often brings to mind short, clever sayings, and the book has hundreds. But Proverbs is far more than a collection of quotes. It opens by linking itself to King Solomon, a figure renowned throughout the ancient world for his extraordinary wisdom, a gift he specifically asked God for, valuing it above wealth or power. While not every word is solely from Solomon, he represents the origin of this profound wisdom tradition, asking, how do we master life? The stated purpose of this book is to help you gain wisdom. But this isn't just about gaining abstract knowledge. The Hebrew word is Khokhmah. It means skill. It's applied knowledge. Think of the skilled craftsman in the Bible, the artist endowed with Khokhmah to build the tabernacle. It was about expert execution, making something functional and beautiful according to divine design. In a way, you could think of Proverbs as an ancient algorithm for life. It's not just a list of do this, don't do that. It's a set of principles, patterns, and cause and effect observations designed to process the input of your circumstances and guide you toward the most probable, wise output. It's like the original life hack guide, but grounded in the very operating system of reality. But where do you even begin to learn this skill, this Khokhmah? Proverbs is uncompromisingly clear from the very first chapter. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. In a culture that often says, you do you, or encourages radical self-reliance as the ultimate freedom, Proverbs starts with something profoundly countercultural. Fear here isn't terror or dread. It's a deep, reverent awe and respect for God's power, holiness, and absolute authority. It's a mindset of profound humility, recognizing that I am not the ultimate authority. I don't get to invent my own truth or standards of right and wrong. Instead, I humbly align myself with the Creator's definition of reality, His unchanging standards, even when it's challenging. This reverent awe isn't a burden, it's liberation. It frees you from the exhausting pressure of having to figure everything out on your own, grounding your life in the ultimate reality and aligning you with the source of all truth, the only solid ground in a chaotic world. The Book of Proverbs is designed to be your guide into this life of Khokhmah, built on the foundation of fearing the Lord. It's structured deliberately to take you on a journey. After the introduction, chapters 1 through 9 present not just short sayings, but longer passionate appeals and urgent warnings. Here, a father speaks earnestly to his son, pleading, guiding, and warning him to listen to wisdom's call and avoid the tempting but ultimately destructive paths of folly and evil. Interwoven are the powerful public calls of Lady Wisdom. Wisdom is personified, a dramatic figure actively seeking you out in the midst of life's choices, claiming she was woven into the very fabric of the universe by God Himself at creation. Ignoring her isn't just unwise, it's walking against the way reality is built. This section is a personal high-stakes invitation. By engaging with this book, you're hearing God's own call to embrace His design for the universe. Then comes the vast center section, chapters 10 through 29. This is the practical core. Hundreds of concise proverbs applying Khokhmah to virtually every area of daily life. How you handle money, navigate friendships, control your temper, speak to others, approach work, and more. The book then concludes with the words of Agur and King Lemuel, including the famous Woman of Noble Character, chapters 30 to 31, showcasing examples of wise readers and lives lived according to this wisdom, the skill of Khokhmah put into practice. Now, before we dive into applying this wisdom, there is one absolutely crucial insight from Proverbs that transforms how we read it. This is the key difference between reading Proverbs like a simple magic formula and understanding its true power in a complex world. Proverbs are fundamentally about probabilities and general rules, not absolute promises or guarantees. If you fear the Lord and consistently develop the skill of making wise choices, life will largely, most likely, tend to go well for you. You are more likely to find stability, peace, and positive outcomes. This is how God designed the general operation of His moral universe to function. Cause tends to have effect. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. This is a powerful general principle describing the highly probable outcome of faithful, intentional parenting. But it is not a divine guarantee that your child will never face struggles or stray. We all know life is messier than that. The fear of the Lord prolongs life, but the years of the wicked are cut short. Fearing God tends to lead to life choices that result in better health and safety, likely leading to a longer life, but it does not promise you won't face a sudden accident tomorrow. Proverbs presents the way things usually work in God's world. But life is complex, and there are painful, undeniable exceptions. And the wisdom books are fiercely honest about this reality. The exceptions are precisely what the other two books in the trilogy, Job and Ecclesiastes, are all about. Job wrestles with righteous suffering that defies simple cause and effect. Ecclesiastes observes that life under the sun is often unpredictable and doesn't follow the expected rules. Understanding Proverbs means embracing its truth about probabilities and developing those skills, while holding that truth in essential tension with the realities explored in Job and Ecclesiastes. It's the wisdom for the likely scenario. But the other books prepare you for when life defies the likelihood and challenges your understanding. So, armed with this crucial understanding that Proverbs teaches probabilities, not strict guarantees, offering a skill for navigating the likely, how does this practical skill, this Khokhmah, grounded in the fear of the Lord, play out in the messy reality of our daily lives, even when life throws exceptions our way? Let's look at how we put this into practice. Let's look at a few key areas where Proverbs offers essential skills. Remembering we're seeing the likely outcomes of developing Khokhmah and living according to God's design, while acknowledging that life holds exceptions beyond our control. Proverbs is powerfully direct. The people you choose to walk with are like potent forces shaping the fabric of your soul. It's about mastering the skill of choosing influences wisely. Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. This isn't just about avoiding negative influences. It's about actively seeking out relationships that sharpen you. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. True wisdom in relationship means valuing those who challenge you, who speak truth even when it's uncomfortable, who push you towards God's design. Developing this skill often requires the courage to set boundaries or even step away from relationships pulling you off course. A hard choice, and sometimes even wise relationship choices, involve pain or disappointment, an exception that Job and Ecclesiastes help us process. Proverbs gives incredible, almost terrifying weight to our speech. It's a skill to be mastered. The tongue has the power of life and death. Our words are like seeds. Once spoken, they grow into consequences we can't always control. Reckless, harsh words pierce like swords, leaving deep wounds. But wise, gracious words, they bring healing. Proverbs says they are like honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones. Proverbs calls us to develop the skill of choosing our words with intention, using them to build up, to encourage, to speak truth in kindness, knowing they shape not only the lives of others, but the state of our own hearts. Like the rudder of a ship guiding the whole vessel, James 3:4-5. While wise words are powerful, even they can't prevent all misunderstanding or conflict in a heavy world, Ecclesiastes. But they dramatically increase the probability of positive outcomes. In a culture often obsessed with career and money as ultimate sources of security or identity, Proverbs offers a grounded, often countercultural perspective on mastering these areas. Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. It praises diligent effort. Using the tiny, self-disciplined ant as an example of this skill, Proverbs 6:6-8, and warns against laziness and shortcuts. But it fiercely warns that wealth itself isn't the goal. And debt can be a devastating trap. The borrower is slave to the lender. Proverbs challenges the modern pursuit of endless accumulation or seeking instant gratification through debt. It highlights the true financial Khokhmah. The skill of managing resources well comes from living within means, integrity in work, trusting God's provision, and paradoxically, generosity. One person gives freely, yet gains even more. Wisdom here is seeing work and wealth not just as personal gain, but as resources to be managed skillfully and generously according to God's design. Understanding that while diligence tends to bring wealth, external factors, like those Job and Ecclesiastes explore, can significantly impact outcomes. The book concludes with other voices reinforcing its core message of developing Khokhmah. We hear from Agur, who models the humble reader, acknowledging his own limits and absolute reliance on God's wisdom found in Scripture, the essential starting point for gaining this skill. And finally, the book closes with a famous portrait of the woman of noble character. This is the living picture of Khokhmah, grounded in the fear of the Lord lived out, embodying diligence, integrity, wisdom in speech, generosity, strength, and reverence. She's the embodiment of the Proverbs 1-9. Invitation applied to a full life, showcasing the skill of living well perfected. Think of modern parallels, like an ethical entrepreneur balancing business success with integrity, generosity, and care for their community and family. So, Proverbs isn't a magical formula or a list of guaranteed outcomes. It's a profound guide for developing the vital skill of living well in God's world, built on the bedrock of humble reverence for Him. It teaches us the likely consequences of our choices, the cause and effect patterns woven into creation by Khokhmah, and calls us to align with them. And by reading it, Alongside Job and Ecclesiastes, we gain essential perspective. Proverbs gives us the indispensable principles and skills for the general course of life, but the wisdom to navigate its inevitable suffering, Job, and frustrating unpredictability, Ecclesiastes, requires a deeper, resilient trust in God that goes beyond simple probabilities. Each book provides a necessary piece of the puzzle for living well in a real complex world. It's about applying the skill of Khokhmah while trusting God to navigate the exceptions. Proverbs challenges our culture's quick fixes and empowers us to build a life of substance and skill. Embrace this ancient Khokhmah. Develop the skills to live wisely, securely, and generously. Like this video, share your favorite proverb below, and subscribe to the Sacred Archive to explore the challenging wisdom of Ecclesiastes and Job, essential companions that complete the picture.